But this is kind of the big picture thinking. Some people say, well, yeah, that's great, Jake, but I'm B2B. I don't really have to worry about going direct to consumer. And we would kind of politely rather, contradict that and say, I don't think folks these days are really looking B2B, B2C to care. With millennials increasing buying power, they're going to look to buy on a phone. They're looking for a digital experience. So there's a generational shift and a chance to grab huge market share, regardless of what you're selling. The next step, though, and we've seen some cautionary tales here, is diversifying your traffic, and we'll get into that in just a second. But making sure you don't just build a kingdom on one pillar. For example, we've seen clients that have done a lot with Facebook ads, and as these new platforms emerge, like TikTok, which we'll talk about in a second, you can get really cheap ad buys and get great performance. But sooner or later, you're going to have competition. Economics always teaches us that when there is an opening, you will have competition. So making sure you use kind of a blended approach. And we'll talk about how you can use SEO as a long-term play with paid, which can be short-term, and then email and SMS, which is something that a lot of people think is dead with email, but managed and segmented correctly, it can be a great little annuity that spits out really consistent cash. And then referral traffic. So things like blogs, forums, influencers, social media, things like that as well. And then the next step is data is rocket fuel for that AI. So getting that customer to your site and building that data set, not getting them in Amazon, but getting that customer so you can build that data set against your product catalog data, and then getting that loyalty. And some of our sponsors are going to talk some really cool ideas around both of those pieces. And then the last piece is more of a cultural component, but I'm really thinking about quick sprints. One of my favorite sayings is this poster right here: done's better than perfect. It's easy to kind of over polish and think you've got to really nail every little nuance, especially with technology, which the switching costs can be very expensive. But getting this mindset of a prototype first and just going quick and fast really, really worked well. And as we saw with some clients again in the lockdowns, it really did pay dividends.